Hi. Peace. Hello. I'm going to tell you the people who held me captive and a slave and a prisoner. I wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the other things that they did. They tend to kill famous people, sometimes because they are black. They don't like it when someone is black and famous. They want to try to prove that black people cannot get ahead. They want to prove that black people just can't do the things that white people can. But whenever somebody who is black gets some notoriety, and they kill those people. So sometimes they'll kill for different reasons, but they seem to think that they like it, that they can get access to famous people, and that was my function for a lot of what they did. Why I was in the SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and I paid dues. The dues for Screen Actors Guild, you know, it's very hard to make that amount of money in a year, and so the dues kind of keep people out. The dues, by the way, go to, you know, ISIS and the Taliban. They use the dues for Screen Actors Guild for terror attacks. So there's really no reason for it. But they kept me in, like, for instance, Meryl Streep hired me as an assistant, which is the person who goes and gets her newspaper and coffee in the morning and things like that. That's an assistant. And she couldn't believe that I was in there as an assistant. But it was so that they could get access to more and more and more people. And the more famous that I got, see, I'm only famous in, well, like what I was told was, you know that you've made it if they know a person's made it if they know me, which so you have to be in with the in crowd, so to speak, to know who I was. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that I'm only famous with, you know, 2 or 3% of the population, and because I was never allowed to use the same name, it's not like, oh, she works under this alias all the time. So there you have it. Yeah, I don't know how they knew me. Like they'd say, oh, the woman with no memory, because of course they were always erasing my memory after every job. But People magazine was made up by the Moocs, and these special editions of People magazine are always of people who the Moocs killed. So every person in here is somebody the Moocs killed. So right here on the cover we have Princess Di, and I already did a little tribute to her. Also Whitney Houston and her daughter, they killed her. And Patrick Swayze, they killed him. Michael Jackson, they killed him. John F. Kennedy Jr., they killed him. And Farrah Fawcett. And a lot of times, I don't know why, they don't really, they say they need a reason to kill people, but I don't know the reason for a lot of these people's deaths. Okay, Grace Kelly. She's the woman who, I was Grace Kelly in To Catch a Thief, and the Prince of Monaco wanted to marry me, and so they gave someone, this person, my looks, and they sent her to Monaco so she could marry the prince. And then they forgot about her, and my sister was at a party on Forbes' yacht, and Princess Grace was there. That's her. And it reminded them that they are the ones who gave her the right to be Princess Grace, so they drove her car off the road with her in it, and they killed her that way. And for really no other reason than they felt like they owned her life right. It's hard to think that way because they're so insane, but it is something that simple will cause them to kill somebody, to show how powerful they are. So anyway, okay, Princess Diana, John F. Kennedy Jr., Michael Jackson, John Lennon, the guy who killed John Lennon wanted to be in the cult. So as a trial, they had him kill John Lennon. And of course, they didn't care. He got arrested, and he's still in prison, I think. Princess Grace, Elvis Presley. Again, just to show that they are powerful. They do that. Farrah Fawcett, Patrick Swayze, who, by the way, ladies, it was that wonderful. I mean, like, Patrick Swayze was very adored, and because he really was that person, that guy in Dirty Dancing. He was that nice guy. He was very extraordinary person. I don't know why they killed him. John Candy, probably because my middle daughter really liked him. She was a fan. Heath Ledger was killed by Terry Gillingham. River Phoenix. Jim Henson, the Muppets. John Belushi. Gary Coleman. He was the little black guy in, I don't know if you know who he is. I'm going to go through the pictures in just a minute. Jim Henson, John Belushi, Gary Coleman, Rebecca Schaefer, I don't know who that is, Brittany Murphy, John Hughes. He's the one who did all those teenage movies like Pretty in Pink and The Breakfast Club. I don't know why they would have killed him. Gilda Radner, they gave her ovarian cancer. Christopher Reeve and Dana Reeve. Of course, Christopher Reeve, they broke his neck. They thought they had killed him, and he was still alive. Brandon Lee, Anna Nicole Smith, Corey Haim, Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac, they killed him because he's black, and my daughter said he would have made a great father because he had that TV show where he's the father, and she thought he was a great father, so they killed him. Chris Farley, Michael O'Donoghue, Freddie Prinze. He was Hispanic, and he was getting very famous they didn't like that. Also, Freddie would always argue with the producers of I forget what show he was on, but he would always argue with them because they would say things like, "Well, we want people to know how how lazy Hispanics are," and he would argue. Finally, they killed him. John Ritter. John Ritter played a real goofball always, but he was like a just a really, he wasn't that goofy person that you saw on TV. He was quite extraordinary man. Whitney Houston, Selena. Now they've also, they killed one Selena, so they named another young girl Selena and killed her. They either killed her or they're going to kill her, and they're going to keep naming Hispanic ingenues Selena, as and when they get famous, they will kill them. Kurt Cobain did not commit suicide. See, because he's in this, so that's proof. And Courtney Love had him killed. I was at his house the day that the man who Courtney sent to kill him came. And they tied me to the radiator, they chained me up, and they killed him. So I am witness that he did not kill himself. And the sheriff who declared it a suicide before it was investigated, they only gave him like $100,000. They didn't even give him very much money to do that. Karen Carpenter, she found out that it was not her voice on the records, it was mine. And she wanted to out them. She wanted to say, it wasn't her. So they had her starve herself to death. She died of anorexia. Freddie Mercury, I don't know why they killed him. He was the guy in Queen. Amy Winehouse, don't know who that is. Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, and they killed them, and they were quite famous. And I think because they're black, nobody investigated properly, and I don't know that the Moocs even had to cover that up that much, which is a sad commentary on our society. Andy Gibb, he was in the Gibbies, the Bee Gees, Brothers Gibb. Luther Vandross, again, black and famous. Joey Ramone, D-Jam, DJAM, I don't know. Bob Marley. I know why they killed Bob Marley. He wrote that song, I Shot the Sheriff, and Rita thought that the sheriff was her. And so she had him killed. I don't think he had anybody in mind when he wrote, I shot the sheriff. I don't know. John Denver. Again, he was not the goofy guy on TV. That was a TV persona. Very deep thinker, I thought. I thought he was, and he was, it was an all-around really great guy. I liked him. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Adam Yoch, Jerry Garcia. Now, I don't know why they killed him. He got the name Grateful Dead from my song, Hair. Steve Jobs. It's sad. So sad. Gianni Versace, Ryan White, John Benet Ramsey. So they killed her. Sometimes I think possibly my husband, my ex-husband, Peter Mickelson, did that. He seemed to be very interested in that case. So it kind of makes me wonder. But now we know that it's the Moocs, and they have a few of these out. Like every 10 years, they'll put one out. They're all murdered by the Moocs, by the cult. Sergei Grinkov, David Foster Wallace, Tim Russert. He was a newsman. I don't know. Randy Pouch. Kosk? I don't know. Elizabeth Edwards. Ooh, that's John Edwards' wife. Steve Irwin. Oh, yeah, I know. That's this guy. That's Steve Irwin. He's the, this guy. He is the crocodile hunter. I think they might have killed him just because they could, and they stole a knife from my father, and it was a thin knife. It was called a harikari knife. It looked almost like a letter opener, and they used that to stab him. Stingrays don't stab people. And of course, one of the people who went diving with him that day, that he didn't know. And that would be the one who killed him. Dale Earnhardt, he's a race car driver. I don't know why they would have killed him. And Kiko, oh, that's the killer whale. I don't know why they would have killed a killer whale. Okay, so here's the pictures of the people. It's a lovely one of Princess Di and her boys. John Kennedy Jr. They tortured him, and they drugged him and tortured him. And he had to fly that night to... where did he live? I can't remember. But he took off from New Jersey, and they didn't realize he was going to fly. He's, a pilot. And so the plane went down. There's him under his father's desk in the Oval Office. Michael Jackson. Well, we know what Michael Jackson looks like, but they tortured him and tormented him and got into his mind and made him have surgery, and he was a tortured soul, but he was literally a tortured soul. They made him so not happy with being black. And, oh, here's a cute picture. That's him with Princess Di. John Lennon, the reason that they killed him was he was starting to make the world a better place. And they can't have that. They want World War III. They've been working on it since World War II was over. It was supposed to happen. There was World War I. World War I ended. And 10 or 20 years later, there was World War II. And they got both those to happen. And then there was supposed to be a World War III. But I was born and managed to keep us out of the war. Would have been with Russia. I remember meeting Khrushchev, but so far their plans have been foiled. But now that they have Trump in the White House, they will most likely succeed. But I'm going to do everything I can to stop that from happening. And everybody should be doing what they can. Hillary should sue him for cheating. She should sue him for cheating on the election. So, okay, here's a picture of the Beatles. Of Princess Grace. Looks a little like me when I was younger. Elvis Presley. Farrah Fawcett. I'm not sure that that's her. Patrick Swayze. Okay, here's Patrick Swayze. Now you know what he looks like. You've seen him in Ghost. Oh, that's why they killed him. Ghost. There was a scene in Ghost when the murderer, the dark spirits came and got the murderer. And then when Patrick goes to heaven, the white light comes down and gets him to go to heaven. But I guess the black spirits wouldn't go to heaven. But they didn't like that they showed it. And Rita said that they showed it as my light. That's what my light looks like. So I have an aura. Some people can see it. And that's what it looks like, she said. And if she was mad at him for showing that to people. But of course, he's the actor. He has nothing to do with it. It's be the writers and the special effects people. But she has no idea that, see, they're not allowed to watch movies, and so that Mooc functions are the only entertainment that they have. So they are taught, and they believe, some of them believe, that what happens in the movie happens for real. They don't understand what acting is. So that kind of puts a real wall against me and reality. And I try to explain reality to people in the Satanic Church, and they don't understand it. But a lot of that is because they were taught that, you know, if they're taught that the movies are real, what happens in the movies are real, they have a hard time understanding what acting is and what a film is and things like that. And I'm finding, you know, all these guys are in their 70s and they still don't know. Many of them still don't know what a movie is, and that a movie is make-believe. And an actor has a script that they follow, and they, you know, that they memorize, and they're acting the part. But so since his part had a white light come and get him in the end of the movie, that's why they killed him. Because he should not have shown that, Rita said. John Candy, this guy. My daughter was a big fan. This is Heath Ledger. Cutie, cutie, cutie. What a cutie. Nice guy, too. Really super, super duper. Okay, River Phoenix. I don't know that anybody would remember him. He died in 93. But he was in quite a few movies, but none of them were, you know, huge successes. So I'm trying to see well, I worked on several movies with him. I Love You to Death. How apropos was probably his last movie. Oh, Stand By Me. Yeah, he was one of the kids in Stand By Me. Gosh. What a great guy. And plus that, he was like, would have been a very big help trying to get world peace. He would have been able to help quite a bit. Jim Henson, this is what he looked like, the voice of Kermit the Frog, and many, many others. Interesting guy. Had a horrible childhood. John Belushi. They killed him. Oh, here he is in his character, so maybe you could recognize him that way. He was in Saturday Night Live, The Blues Brothers, I don't know, some other stuff. Okay, this is Gary Coleman. I don't know if that helps you at all. He was in a weird, Different Strokes, that's the name of it. Weird little show quite a while ago. When did he die? He died in 2010? Huh. Rebecca Schaefer. Again, looks a little bit like me from when I was young. Some of these are mistaken identity. Some people got killed. Like Simpson. O.J. Simpson's wife, who O.J. was supposed to have killed, I think was killed by the Moocs as a mistaken identity. That's what I was told, anyway. Brittany Murphy. Now, some of you might know who that is. And then John Hughes. This guy here. He wrote a whole bunch of... I like his movies. I worked on them. 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I'm supposed to be Ferris Bueller. Like all of his ideas and things. And Gilda Radner. Okay, she was in quite a few things. She was one of the stars of Saturday Night Live when it first started. That's how I knew her. And then she married Gene Wilder. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to pick it up again. I'm just going to stop there for uploading. It gets to be a real problem if the movies are too long.